Welcome. You're watching the Diwali Muhurat Trading special on the NDTV network. We're welcoming in NDTV 24/7 viewers as well as we go through what is a very special day for those who live, breathe, eat stock markets. Welcome. Neeraj, Parag Thakkar, Kush Bora, of course, with us. We're going to be joined by Alex Matthew at the National Stock Exchange and Hiral Daria at the Bombay Stock Exchange. Now, what's interesting is what Muhurat Trading really is all about. And folks, let's start with that. This is a tradition going on from the last 68 years and takes from the concept of the Chopra Puja that Indian business families usually do. But as in the modern time, a lot of money and wealth is connected with the stock exchanges. Those Chopra account books have been replaced with computers and now laptops, and a symbolic puja at both the BSE and the NSE. That's where you have Hiral and Alex joining in. Hiral, let me start with you on what the oldest stock exchange does for Diwali and the tradition where it has begun from, because that's where the whole concept of Muhurat Trading began, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is exactly where I am. I'm standing in the ring right now where Muhurat Trading actually began back then in 1957. Since then it has continued. I think NSE joined the bandwagon in 1992. But you can see live visuals over here where the Muhurat Trading has already started. If you come with me, this is where the puja is ongoing, and that's where I'm going to take you through, where we have the MD and CEO, Mr. Ramamurthy, and his wife with the Pandits who are performing the puja over here. In fact, we did speak 1257 is when the Abhijit Muhurat started, and that's when they actually started covering this entire puja. They started the Muhurat Trading puja over here. You can see live visuals over here where the puja is ongoing as well. In fact, the Chopra is the key over here. The puja right now which is ongoing is the Lakshmi puja that they are doing. Kuber is something who is also being worshipped. The Lord Kuber and Lord Lakshmi and Lord Ganesh are being worshipped over here. In fact, that interesting aspect I'm going to show you right now is that all this while we were talking about all the Muhurat and the Saudas that were taking place in physical over here, where everyone would talk about aaj 10 share lenge, 20 share lenge, and these were lives that were happening. And now all of that has actually changed into terminals. You'll see a lot of people who are now sitting on the terminals which have been set up over here. I'll take you to them, and these are the ones who are actually going to punch in all their saudas over here. All of them who are wishing each other happy Diwali, happy New Year, and all the setups that are being done. I'm going to talk to one of them as well and just tell you through. What is the mood over here like right now? Because initially there were days when we were talking about saudas that were done in the ring. Everything has changed. सब कंप्यूटर पे हो गया है. क्या चेंज हुआ है? आप कितने साल से कर रहे हो पहले तो आज?
She is the trader.
The wife is always the trader.
Oh, she comes here every day, regularly.
I should be speaking to her as well. What is the mood like right now for you?
Mood is all positive. Everyone is in a festive mood. Globally, everyone is happy. The markets are shooting, and it's bull time.
The last 3 days have actually given it a booster as well.
Absolutely.
Happy Diwali last 3 days.
Happy Diwali is coming in advance. So, okay, which is the top bet that you're going to make for Muhurat Trading today?
Top bets.
Which is the first order that you're going to punch?
I am buying PNB housing today.
PNB Housing Finance. So that's something which one of the people who actually sits at BSE is going to trade for. So you can actually understand what the mood is like, and now they've actually moved to the Aarti, and post this is when all the saudas will be punched in at BSE. Over to you guys.
Hiral, we love that, and if you can do more of this, we'll keep on coming back to you as opposed to being in the studio, to be honest. But no, we'll also go to the National Stock Exchange, and there Alex is there. And Alex, the mood at the BSE is very, very buoyant, very festive. People are talking about stocks to be bought into as well. What is the mood at the NSE like?
Well, the NSE may never have had physical trading of shares. It is one of the most advanced stock exchanges in the world. But it goes without saying that tradition is at the root of everything that's happening today. As I'm speaking to you right now, the Lakshmi Puja is ongoing. You might see it on some of the screens that are broadcast around here as well. In fact, I'm going to ask Vishal, a camera person, to pan it a little bit just to showcase that if we can. That is ongoing right now, and you will probably see Ashish Kumar Chauhan, who's the managing director of the National Stock Exchange, in that crowd. And behind me, let's pan back, because behind me over here is the bell of the National Stock Exchange. We're minutes away from the start of trade, just about 10 minutes away, and that is where the bell is. So we're going to be ringing that sharp, or rather Ashish Kumar Chauhan will be ringing that sharp at 1:45. But you were talking about Lord Kuber, you were talking about Goddess Lakshmi and Ganpati. There are a lot of important things that are discussed, of course, over the course of Diwali. But more than anything else, I was speaking to a few people. It is a good old stimulus, if you think about it, because people go out and spend. It greases the wheels of the economy, and I think that's exciting a lot of people, even sitting at home right now.
Okay, I mean, this is fantastic. The color is fantastic. So here's what we're going to do at NDTV Profit during this Muhurat trading. We've given you a sense of what the entire event is about. We have this beautiful clipping from the Bombay Stock Exchange and the newspaper article about its first Muhurat trading, and we're going to pull that up for you. So that was what happened to the markets then. Shares were subdued. But in most cases, the day of Muhurat trading sees markets in the positive. Remember, no one comes here really to make a lot of money. It's just a 1 hour trading window. 1:45 to 2:45 is when that window happens. And of course, we have a stellar lineup today. Rahul Arora, market expert, with us in the studios. Khush Bora, Parag Thakkar, all of them talking about what this moment means. Now, Rahul, I'm going to start with you and welcome to the NDTV Profit celebration of Muhurat trading today. What Muhurat trading means for you, and especially this year, how are you looking at Samvat 2082?
Firstly, thank you for having me, and wish you, the team and the families, a very happy Diwali, and to all the viewers as well. I think, this day, I think if I take it back to when I started my career at PwC, I remember, even though we had nothing to do with the corporate finance division and nothing to do with the stock markets per se, we used to land up going to office, and I used to wonder, hum office kyun aa rahe? And it was just a bunch of people who had invested in stocks like Gujarat Fluoro and things like that back then, yeah. And they used to just come and watch television and just be very excited. And I think over the years, as we got into investing, it just became tradition. I think more than anything else, it was just tradition. A token bit of buying, as you would do on Dhanteras for either your mother, wife, sister, daughter, whatever. But I think to your second question, I think that's slightly the more pertinent question, because I think the one thing, Tamanna, that's come to light in the last 1 year is asset allocation today is more important than it ever has been. And I don't think, maybe if you rewind your clips to the guest that you spoke to last Samvat, I think 99.9% would have got it wrong in terms of the prediction of the gold and silver up. So and let me go on record and say that I think that the next 1 year is going to be the same, because I don't think you're going to have a year where equities are going to outperform. Obviously, a couple of years back, you also had the situation where the finance minister changed the taxation on debt, and that helped hugely in terms of equity flows. But this has been the first year where, a lot of the new age investors who've come in post 2020 have seen a flat to negative return year. Now, will this have a resultant impact on flows as we go along? Because you've seen a huge run in gold and silver. Some of my, family friends that we have that are in gold and silver, they're not advocating fresh buying from here, but they're saying there's no reason to sell. And I think if that itself holds out, then I think today, this entire vertical within financial services of wealth management, I think this is going to implode in a far bigger way, is my sense. I think deals will continue to happen in the primary market, because I think the secondary market across the board valuations have topped out. I don't think anyone putting their hand on their heart and valuing a company on FY27 will give you one stock recommendation saying that this is looking like a screaming buy. वो है नहीं इस market में. That's why other asset classes are doing well. I can debate that, Rahul. Sorry? I can debate that.
I mean, you look at a clutch of smaller names on the banking side. You look at, for example, cement on the valuation side, maybe even IT relative to historical past on the valuation side. There are some bargains available.
So, okay, let's dive a little deeper into that. Historical versus what you're actually buying it today for the future. Let's start backwards. You said IT. Let's look at TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL Tech, and TechM. all these 5 over the next 2 years are going to grow their top line and bottom line by 7 to 9%. Nobody
leave the
is
large
going to
caps
grow.
out.
Sorry?
Leave the large caps out. A clutch of those mid-sized names, non-nifty names.
So persistent is already at 40x. So what is your exit multiple? So as sell-side brokers, you have to give at least a 15% upside. Most sell-side brokers, in some brokers it's 20%. So you're talking about an exit rate, you're talking about a target multiple of 48 on persistent system. I'm not saying it can't head there, but I'm saying, is that a reason to buy? By that same token, Dixon Technologies, which has probably for me been the best stock of the market of the last 10 years, how many companies have grown their top line and bottom line compounded by 30% while holding a 30% ROE, ROC? That's remarkable. Now, I think to your point about even banks, Neeraj, I think even if you look at, you were discussing PNB Housing Finance, even if you look at something like a PNB, it's already trading at close to one-time book. I think a DCB after the run it's had is already trading in line with historical averages. HDFC, ICICI are already 2.7, 2.8. There will be some stocks that like an innocent bank or something that which are 0.7, 0.8, which are marred by certain external events and they may correct themselves. But I don't think valuations even in banking after this run are cheap. And you're talking about credit growth being not even equal to nominal GDP growth. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound despondent on a good day, but I think a voice of reason just to temper expectations is very important.
Okay.
I mean, even in cement, I'm not disputing.
Just say expectations cannot be tempered more than they have this last year.
Yeah.
This is a time of a reality check.
No, but I think,
for a whole
Tamanna, that's
host
the point. I think, people have forgotten that this market can actually correct. The market has not corrected. If the Nifty was to head down to 20,000 or 18,000, that's when things end. And it's not a major correction. 20,000 from here is a 20% correction. People have forgotten to even think that this can happen. I mean, Parag Bhai is here. We've seen cycles. We've seen the Asian currency crisis. You've seen the .com. We've seen the 93 blast. We've seen what's happened in 2008, the taper tantrum. Markets correct. I think people have just forgotten that it can happen.
Okay, let's see. I mean, Rahul has the pulse of the market like very few people have. So I wouldn't want to bet against him. But I don't know, somehow the last 12 months, 14 months underperformance leads me to believe that it might well turn out to be the year for equities. I'm not saying gold will outperform or underperform. It's difficult to call. But keep in mind that even the near term, and just before we go to Kush Bora and Deven Choksi, just a very quick setup for the near term, right? Because it's a 1 hour trading window. You might want to put in your trades, Shagun ke Saude, what have you. There has been 3 or 4 days of some bit of FI buying that has started to come in. It's only 2,000 crores, 2,165 crores. So nothing dramatic. This market has actually gone up because of some short covering, to be very honest. I mean, you look at the FI long short ratio, the peak short ratio was 94. It is now at 82. So you can very safely say that this has happened because of the short covering bounce as yet, and because the cash buying is only 2,000 crores. But you would probably see smart money, some bit of smart money starting to book some profits in all areas except consumption. So keep in mind, I think the one pocket that everybody's betting on is consumption. And we'll talk about that in detail. But very quickly, Kush Bora, thanks for joining in today. And are you doing some trading bets this morning or this afternoon for today or for the next few days?
Sure. First of all, very happy Diwali, guys. And I think this is an order. This is a coffee bet that I lost yesterday.
Thank you.
What was the bet about?
The bet was whether Nifty will hit 26,000 yesterday before closing. It did not came fairly close, but the terms were fair. The wager was very clear, and I lost. So that's your coffee. But no, I will be a little more optimistic than Rahul. I think there is a good chance and there is a good case to be made for the Nifty to head towards 30,000, in the next 12 months, and Bank Nifty 69, 70,000. We've had a period of consolidation. While I agree to his point that can the Nifty go down from here? Most certainly, Parag Bhai and all I have also been discussing how you might want to sit on some cash when the markets are going up right now. What we've seen in the last 3-4 years is that the volatility has been very sharp and every dip has turned into a buying opportunity. So yes, I am a little positive for the 12-month period. Right now, you might want to start booking profits, and the stocks that I'm looking at for today for 12 months, GMDC and Apollo Hospitals.
Okay, 20 seconds to go. For the market open, it's only a 1 hour session. PNB Housing Finance was a question to someone who was trading on the floor. And Hiral, my colleague, asked her, what are you going to trade? And she said, I'm going to buy PNB Housing Finance. So it's a Shagun stock in that sense. So we have a whole list of Shagun stocks for you. But let's take a look at how markets are opening in this truncated trading session this Diwali. All right, I wonder if we can get an amp up on that. They're doing it with the ringing of the bell, which is just lovely. There you go. That's just lovely. It's just so colorful and festive. I mean, India is one of the top 5 markets in the world, and I doubt anyone else looks at just the making of money and trading in equity with this fervor and color. All right, you're not going to see great volumes today because that's really not what the game is about. So 25,900, Nifty sitting pretty above that. I wonder if we can pull up the heat map. Let's show some stocks as well, even as we show these wonderful pictures because it's really bright and colorful there. But pretty much all in the green. Infosys on top of the charts, and even in yesterday's trade, you had IT, which was really ruling the roost, wasn't it, Neeraj? So Infosys there on top of the charts. Tata Motors doing okay. Just a bit of red there with ICICI Bank, Asian Paints, and Bharti.
Yeah, I mean, the volumes on the large caps will be a bit soft. Adani Ports is out there, Tata Motors is out there. Maybe the broader markets might have more movers, and if we can quickly get the NSE 500 winners and losers list out there, the bar chart, just to show what's moving and what's not before we get back to our guests. And Deven Choksi is waiting by. We have to take further questions with Parag Thakkar as well. But Ipca Labs, Nesco, Tata Investments are some of the names which are moving. On the downside, Indigo Paints, MedPlus, Balaji Amines, and Seat, which had a big move in yesterday's session, seeing some bit of profit booking. Okay, we'll revisit these rates, but the idea and the question to all our guests, because I know people who are tuning in right now want to know that आज के दिन कौन सा good auspicious sauda karna hai, right? Every viewer wants to know that. So Deven Choksi is joining in, and that is we're going to start asking him, and then to Rahul Arora, who is a bit more conservative this time, ask him the same, ask Parag Thakkar the same. But Deven bhai, thanks so much for joining in, and happy Diwali to you and everybody in the DR Choksi family and your family. Deven bhai, are you constructive on the markets currently? Are you wanting to go out and make those fresh purchases today itself?
Hi Neeraj, good afternoon and happy Diwali to all of you as well. It's a lovely feeling, frankly. I think after a good, tough 2025, almost getting over now, I think we are likely to see, a very bright 2026 going forward. Haven't seen this kind of buoyancy in the mood as far as I think the consumption is concerned, and which you alluded by stating the demand kind of situation which is now growing. In my viewpoint, I think we are likely to see a significantly large growth, I think, from the corporates in coming quarters. In fact, I think whenever in the history, the interest rates have come down and inflation has remained subdued. And at the same time, whenever we have managed our current account deficit well, which we are doing currently, in my viewpoint, I think the markets have rewarded significantly even in the near term. The long term, I think, which is something which we want to look at. As I see it, I think the next 10 years are going to be creating some of the very large corporates in the country, something which one has experienced in the Western world, like the Googles and the Microsoft and the Apples of the world. I think something similar is likely to happen in the next 10 years as far as India is concerned. So from a perspective of looking at a very long term, definitely I think the conviction is very high. In the near term, there might be some disappointments, at least for some period, but that is not taking away the larger opportunity that we are probably experiencing. Do not know whether I think on Diwali Day you should buy everything at one go, but the fact remains that I think in this market, the opportunity comes and that opportunity should be capitalized. That's what we believe.
Deven bhai, very happy Diwali to you and your family and everyone in your organization as well. I don't think you should buy everything at one go on any day, especially not on Diwali Day. But having said that, what are the favorites as far as the new Samvat are concerned? Are you also in the camp that believes banking and financials is the best way to have a proxy play on consumption, on capex, for the growth story, and at every end? And that, the NIM compression, etc., and all of those pain points have bottomed out.
The happy Diwali to you as well, Tamanna. And definitely, I think nobody will buy out everything on the same day, agreed. The point, I think, which we are right now observing, the consumption demand is picking up. And that's where probably, I think, you might want to see the discretionary spending, I think, going in favor of the real estate as well as auto and auto ancillary. So that's no brainer. I guess I think that will continue to probably give the maximum advantage to those who are into this space. the BFSI space, the lending space particularly, I believe that the difference is going to be between those people who have adopted the front end in form of the fintech, and those who are in a position to reach out their customers better, those who are in a position to, I think, write underwriting risk, I think, better, I think are the ones, I think, who are going to be creating a difference among, I think, the entire space where NBFC and some of the corporate banks are operating in the retail finance particularly. I believe, I think the one who has adapted to this technology is going to be the winner in this game. If somebody is growing at 6-7% the loan book, I think some of the smart NBFC companies are growing 3 times faster, and that with the lowest amount of NPA in the books. So in my viewpoint, I think we are likely to see a significantly large opportunity for those companies who are adapting the technology, and I think an underlying business model is driven by the technology. So that's where probably you should be seeing a bigger opportunities as well.
Okay. Naveen bhai, thank you so much for that, and wish you a very happy Diwali once again. Let's hope we all have a much better year with less uncertainty. The tariff issue gets sorted out. Earnings improve. Anyway, you're going to have next quarter's earnings looking good because of the base effect. Second half will look good because of the base effect. And so we're hoping for a much more festive year going ahead. Thank you so much. Now, we're bringing you all of the action, not just from the NDTV Profit Studios, but from the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange. The National Stock Exchange is where my colleague Alex caught up with market veteran Vijay Kedia on his experience with Muhurat Trading. Listening in.
I'm sure that you've got a lot planned over the course of today and tomorrow, but this is a very significant event. And for years, how many years have you been celebrating Diwali and Lakshmi Puja here?
Countless, not here.
Not here,
but in the market.
At the market.
Oh, maybe 30 Diwalis, more than that.
30 Diwalis. So I was doing a little bit of reading, and 68 years now is when this puja has been happening at the stock exchanges. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, of course it is. Yes.
And for you personally, what does this signify?
No, it signifies optimism, I think. It signifies dream and happiness and prosperity.
Okay. Now, when you think about what's lined up ahead of us, we always have optimism, but are you seeing signs to say that optimism is founded in reality this time in particular?
No, it is. You look at the numbers. Let us not go into what I am saying, but look at the data. I read somewhere that कितना 1 लाख गाड़ी बिक गया, something 100,000, and I read somewhere कि 60-65 हजार करोड़ का क्या वो सब दिवाली के गहने वहने बोलिए, प्रीसियस मेटल, सोना चांदी सब बिक गए सब. So that's a big numbers, That is what it tells us. Some big is upcoming. Something big is going to happen in India. This is what tells us.
Well, the big thing in India is happening, really. And, guys, I don't know, just the one thing that stands out for me is that don't fight the central banker, right? Ever in life. And you got the central bank in your favor if you're an equities person right now, and which is why I'm kind of willing to take that bet against Rahul Arora on that, but not that we are placing a bet. But Rahul.
We have to take a break.
We have to take a break. Okay, let's take a break first and then we'll come back.
So the big thing after the break is what is going to be as exciting as the big thing happening in India. A lot of conversations, a mini debate on BCB, all of that when we come back.
Back with the Muhurat Trading Day special right here on NDTV Profit in conversation with Rahul Arora, Kush Bora and Parag Thakkar. And Rahul, I want to talk about what is it that you would want to buy? What is it that you want to invest in? You are not very constructive equities, but surely there are opportunities.
Oh, for sure, Neeraj. I think it all depends on the price point and what the valuations are. So I think the recent listing LG looks interesting to me compared to the valuation of, say, a Dixon or a Havells or a Blue Star. So I think LG certainly looks good. I'd still buy one of the alcohol stocks, either UB or UNSP. I'm fairly comfortable with either of them. We were discussing IT a little earlier. I think TCS is all right to have as a portfolio name. I think they definitely could potentially be looked at. I think Hindustan Aeronautics from defense is also an interesting name that comes to mind. I think in banking, Neeraj bhai, I think I would like to stick to HDFC Bank and SBI. SBI has been one of my favorites for almost 2 years now, and I would still want to stick with it. I think HDFC Bank and SBI would probably be two names that I would recommend. Maybe on correction, something like a Havells would look interesting to me. Not at the current price, but maybe something on corrections.
But sorry, that's a buffet, right? Of a lot of large cap names. Nothing small size, a small size bank, for example, a DCB, let's say.
DCB for sure, Neeraj. I think the point I was trying to make was it's had a good run. I think if you see, a lot of brokers have their targets between 170, 180. And I think for a bank which has a 14.5%, 15% ROE, very strong ROA profile. In fact, in the numbers, the net interest margins actually sequentially expanded, which was, something that you're not seen with a lot of banks. So I think I was just talking to Parag during the break, and he was telling me that he also sees about a 20% kind of upside. So like there are a lot of large cap banks that have a 20% upside on them. So that's the question. So large versus mid, I still think DCB is a great stock to be holding. But like I said, I think if the call is say between an SBI 20% and a DCB 20-25%, I'll become more comfortable buying an SBI. That's just a simple way.
So that I completely agree. Large cap is giving me 20%, then why should I buy small cap?
So, but are you buying a DCB or are you buying an SBI?
DCB on that day itself, we discussed on Friday, whatever was the last trading day, and I was very constructive after the results. And so the only thing which I had a different view than Rahul is that historical averages, sometimes need to be seen that how the future looks like, right? So DCB, I feel that from this result, as he rightly said, that NIM expanded QOQ when you had a repo rate cut impact. And the way they are squeezed in, the way they are running the tight ship, as explained by the CEO on the call, and I have not met them, I have just heard the call. And from there only I derived this bullishness that, the operating leverage is there, he is running a tight ship, stock is completely on that day it was trading at 0.6 time and PE of 5.5. So from the way it looks like, and the credit cost was just 31 bips for this quarter.
But
so that made me bullish. Of course, I am also not going to buy today after such a big move. From that day we discussed, today it is up 18% from that day to today.
No, so a lot of these maybe still have a bit more of a move to go. Meanwhile, my colleague Hiral caught up with the managing director at Bombay Stock Exchange, Sundaraman Ramamurthy. Here's that exclusive conversation.
Mr. Ramamurthy, firstly, wishing you and everyone at BSE a happy Diwali. Your wishes to all the investors and viewers.
Thanks for this. Wish all the viewers, everybody in the country and everywhere in the world, whoever Indians are there who are celebrating Diwali, very, very happy Diwali wishes. And I'm sure this year is going to be another great year and another good year for the country.
One thing I want to ask you is, since the time you've come as well, you're there at BSE, how have things changed when it comes to Muhurat trading? Because initially this was a ring. Sauda used to be manually, orally, 10 share lenge, 20 share lenge. It's transition. Now you have systems which are in place. That's where the hue and cry happens. What is it in terms of tradition that has changed according to you?
See, traditions, by the very word tradition, should not change. With every Diwali, there will be a Lakshmi Puja, there will be happiness, there will be a Utsah everywhere. That doesn't change. The way of trading may change. The scripts they trade may change. The market numbers may change. Tradition is so entrenched in all of us. Every Diwali, we celebrate with sweets, patake, and of course today, because of ESG consciousness, we don't use crackers, but still in our mind, hamesha patake putte hain when we feel all great things happening.
Absolutely. आज भी फटाके फूट रहे थे, ऐसे ही लग रहा था कि मार्केट ऊपर है. But with this, when you talk about the colors, the auspiciousness of Muhurat trading, what does it actually signify? Because initially it used to be called Chopra Pujan. So according to you, what is the reason why this is done, and what's the relevance or the importance of that first Sauda?
See, there are a lot of great relevances. In a half a minute or 1 minute, this cannot be talked. Right from the why Diwali, what are all the associated things with it. For every one of our actions, there is a deep inner meaning behind it. In a simple way, if we have to put it, it is a question of making all, whatever stock of things that we had, getting renewed, and new great things and new sense of happiness getting ushered in.
My last question to you, your message to all the new investors, the Gen Z investors, because the way trading was done, it was always investments as well. What would your message be to Gen Z investors?
My message remains the same old one. Understand what you trade only what you understand. Thank you.
Okay, so that was the MD of the Bombay Stock Exchange talking to us about what Muhurat Trading means for him and what we're seeing going forward. But let's have a little bit of a fun time. Diwali is all about, among other things, sweets, some indulgence. And everyone has their favorite sweet and not so favorite sweet. There's some that get palmed off from family to family, and there's some which is, top of the line. So from the ever reliable Kaju Katli to the endlessly recycled Son Papdi, which stock resembles which mithai? Samvat Sarkar is joining us for that. Samvat, first of all, your thought process of how you put together this list and the reasoning and the assigning of a mithai to a stock.
So we have listed down the four most common sweets that are used in Diwali. It's Kaju Katli, Rasgulla, Jalebi and Son Papdi. And now we are trying to relate these sweets with the stocks that are the most relatable. Now firstly, when it comes to Kaju Katli, it is one of the most liked sweet by everyone and one of the most reliable sweet that we have seen for every occasion. And two stocks that I could relate to this is HDFC Bank and Pidilite. Now, why these two stocks? Because these are the only two stocks in the entire universe of listed companies, there is more than 6,000 companies that have given positive returns for every calendar year for the last 11 years that we have seen. Only two stocks, HDFC Bank and Pidilite, right from 2015 till 2025 right now, they have given positive returns on every calendar year. As you can see, from 2016 to 2020, returns for HDFC Bank have been anywhere between 12 to 55%, for Pidilite anywhere between 7 to 53%, and from 2021 to 2025 till now, for HDFC Bank returns have been anywhere between 3 to 13%, and for Pidilite anywhere between 4 to 39%. So these two stocks have given positive returns, and hence both these counters are Kaju Katli of our Diwali today. When it comes to Rasgulla, now it's full of sweet syrup and yields sweetness till the very last drop. Something very similar to stocks that have given high dividend yields to investors for many years. And two stocks that are relatable here are Vedanta and Coal India. And these are the two highest dividend yielding stocks among large caps for investors and have been the same for many years. For Vedanta, if you look at the dividend yield on an average has been around 9.2%. And for Coal India, the dividend yield among large cap has been around 6.9%. Now when it comes to Jalebi, it's sweet but twisted, and the stock that we are relating here is Star Health, and this is purely based on the share price move of Star Health. And this is the only stock among the large cap that has given actually zero returns from last Samvat till now. Now there have been ups and downs, there have been twists and turns. From low price, whoever has bought Star Health might have seen higher returns, but over the last 1 year the stock has given zero returns. The high price for Star Health has been 521, the low price in the last 1 year has been 330, current market price is 493, and the 12-month consensus target price is 483. So a lot of twists and turns that Star Health has seen, and at the end has given zero returns. And lastly, the most common Son Papdi. Now this is a sweet which is passed on or recycled most every Diwali, and one of the stocks that we relate to this is Gravita India, because that is the only large cap stock among the recycling business. Again, on the in the large cap space, that's the only stock. It's engaged in recycling lead, aluminium and plastics. 7 analysts cover this counter. All of them have a buy rating on Gravita India. The 12-month target price stands at close to 2,398 rupees, close to 2,400, which suggests a return potential of nearly 54% from the current levels.
Okay, we are in splits here in the studio, but that's just amazing, Samvat. We're going to come back and ask everyone what their favorite mithai and stock is, but Ashish Kumar Chauhan with us, and he's speaking with Alex.
Yeah, well, what a fantastic conversation that was about comparing stocks with sweets. Ashish Kumar Chauhan, as you said, joining us. Ashish Kumarji, from all of us at NDTV Profit, wish you a very, very happy Diwali. What does this festival mean for you? You've been associated with the stock markets for so long. You've seen physical trading as well. What does it mean for you?
No, it's basically this is the biggest festival or biggest day for all stock market participants. Many people don't know that the Diwali is a sort of the last day of a Vikram Samvat. The next day is the New Year, and so most of the people who follow Vikram Samvat they close their books today and open a new book, and that's why it's called Muhurat Ka Sauda, because what you trade today is settled next year, and that's why all people who are from western region of India who follow what we call Vikram Samvat, and so the new year is tomorrow. And in a way, today is also Diwali, where Bhagwan Ram came back to Ayodhya, but it's also the day when Mahalakshmi the goddess of wealth, was also born today. So it's many things, but the stock markets for many years, the symbol of the stock market in India was Mahalakshmi.
Yes.
And that's where too many things happened. Even NSE on November 3, 94 started on Diwali day.
Yes.
And that's why so many mixed feelings continue in all our minds. Many people say that you need to give holiday, but this is the day we worship Lakshmi, and what better than doing it at NSE?
Yeah, what better, right? And a lot of people know this about you, but I'm still going to inform those that don't. You actually told my colleague when she interviewed you that if you hadn't been in the stock markets, you might just have been a monk. I saw the puja earlier. I was in the back, and you were very familiar with everything that was going on. In fact, you were speaking along with the Panditji. This tradition, of course, is something that you bring to the table every year. What specifically stood out in the many Diwalis that have gone past? Is there one that you remember fondly?
No, November 3, 94 was the first day, first show for NSE, and we were not in this building. We were in Mahindra Towers at Worli in Mumbai, and we had kept, we did not have the satellite telecom installed. We had just started on that day itself, but we had kept 100 brokers to trade from the offices of NSE.
Yeah.
We had kept 100 computers, and all of them came. Some of them tried to place orders. It was the first day, and one of them made a mistake.
Oh God!
And he lost like 3-4 lakhs of those days. It would have been like today's probably 4 or 5 crores in one single trade. And then he came rushing down to my office saying, "Now you need to save me, cancel the trades." And so there are many such stories of our lives which are more. We are the administrative people. We don't make money, neither we lose money. But we try to provide the services, and that it continues uninterrupted for the markets, and that's what the entire occasion is all about.
Yeah, what a story, thinking back to something that has happened over 30 years back. But when you look at how things are right now in October of 2025 and 5 years after COVID-19, did you anticipate the kind of explosion in participation that you've seen in the stock markets? And where do you see things going in the next year, 2 years, 5 years? You see the crores of individuals that are currently trading. What are the volumes that you anticipate?
No, in a way, when we went into COVID, we had probably 30 million unique investors, 3 crore. Today we have 12 crore unique investors, 23.5 crore accounts at NSE. So it's like 4 times in last 5 years. It was not expected. The video KYC is what created this explosion of interest, and also allowing people to come into the markets easily. Due to the COVID, when we couldn't do physical KYC, but it was allowed on video. I think that is the change that happened. And of course, the mobile, ubiquitous mobile in everyone's hands. So broadly speaking, for me, the story of last 11 years after Mr. Modi took over is about India becoming more middle class.
Right.
And so when Mr. Modi took over, there were 1.6 crore unique investors. Today, 12 crore unique investors. 3 crore women, 9 crore males, 9 crore households. 1/4 of India, that is 25% of India now, invest through NSE, which is a very large number even from the world standards. And today we have investors in all pin code, 19,400 odd pin codes, except 28 pin codes in the country. Literally, I have people in Ladakh who are investing as of now we are talking. I have people in Andaman Nicobar as of now trading. I have people in Dwarka on the west side, and I have people in Arunachal Pradesh trading. Everywhere you go, you see NSE on your screen, on your mobile, right? And so NSE and Nifty are there as a part of your life every day, every moment.
Yeah, so fantastic. And it's only going higher. Let's end with a quick rapid fire, okay? Where do you see the Nifty 50 in 5 years?
No, I think in some ways I don't trade nor...
Of course,
but for me, I have seen Nifty, when I started Nifty in 95, the base of 1,000, November 3, 95. 1 year after NSE started. Today it's 25,000, 26,000.
Yeah.
In 30 years, it has given 26 times returns, but also the dividends.
Yes.
It would be 30,000. So effectively, every 5 years, it has doubled, right?
Yeah.
And that's what many people try to predict. The Nifty will be this, that, but their ambitions are too low, right? India is going to grow Nifty is going to grow going forward.
So two more questions. One, what is your favorite Diwali sweet?
I like Kaju Katli, but I like every sweet. So that's why I'm diabetic.
Okay, I'm glad. Okay. And one last question. Advice to a trader on Diwali heading into new Samvat.
Be investors to the extent possible. Don't be traders. Buying in the morning and selling in the afternoon. Unless you are expert, don't try to do it. You have other work. If you don't know how to sort of study all these things, try to go through mutual funds or a portfolio manager or a financial advisor. Like you don't try to do sort of medicine yourselves. If you have, you don't try to do this yourself if you are not an expert.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, and wish you a very happy Diwali from all of us.
Happy New Year.
And with that, it's back to you in the studio.
All right, fantastic conversation with Ashish Chauhan. Now, before we get to Gautam Shah, founder Goldilocks Global Research, and Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, welcome to both of you. We have to address the wonderful piece that Samvat Sarkar did before we got to that interview, which is equating mithai with stocks. And there are 4 categories. Quick recap, and we'll get those graphics up. The mithai we have chosen to equate with stocks and why. There's Kaju Katli, there is Rasgulla, Jalebi, and Son Papdi, each with its characteristics. But when that report was being done by Samvat, you couldn't stop laughing. Tell me, which is your category of each? Your Kaju Katli, your Son Papdi, your Jalebi, and your Rasgulla.
So I would so basically I will agree with Kaju Katri part significantly. HDFC Bank and Pidilite, and I feel that they might be the Kaju Katris of next year also. So HDFC Bank is, in my view, is at inflection point very clearly. If one has a 18-month view, of course. The only negative is a possible rate cut by RBI in December, which also looks like likely. But otherwise, I think all the, I would say, the positive jaws are opening for the bank. See, one way to look at it is, this is a bank which has a depressed margin. So margin is at the bottom and growth is also at the bottom. So both will come back very strongly next year, in my view. Because now, most importantly, they have opened 3,000 branches in last 3 years.
Right.
All those will go and come and break even in next year, while now they are opening only 400, 500 branches. So operating leverage will kick in, and I think the earning growth will be 14-15%, PE of only 15x. So Rahul was referring to that PEG. You know, the PEG is 1x for HDFC Bank. Price to book is say price to book is 2.2. ROI is reaching 2%. So I would say that is a kind of stock which I would. So, and the other thing which I would like to say is that the only thing which is pending in the market is FII re-entry, right? Domestics have bought.
So when they come to HDFC
Bank, Reliance,
very
Infosys.
quickly, or Son Papdi.
No, I'll add one to the list. I'll add a Mysore Pak. Mixture of very delicious items not easily available, right? Look at Azad Engineering. There's a lot of things not often discussed, but I think this has a long way to go. So I think I'll add one to the list, which is Mysore Pak as Azad Engineering.
Mysore Pak, okay, not the first pick on Diwali at least.
Correct.
Or maybe.
Correct.
Okay, Gautam Shah, very happy Diwali to you. Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, very happy Diwali to you. Gautam, of course, we want to know where you think the markets will be and the index will be next Samvat. But just taking forward from our mithai banter, first of all, what is your favorite Diwali mithai and what is your favorite Diwali mithai stock?
Hi, good afternoon. Very happy Diwali to all the viewers at NDTV and to the entire team. Thank you so much for having me today. Well, talking about mithai, I think I would just go a little off Indian sweets. I would go with a tiramisu. I know it might seem a little new age, but that's what I would like to go with. Talking about markets and talking about what markets have done off late, I think we are coming from a period of no return. And because we've had no return and with the government having done so much in the last 1 year, I think you have a perfect environment for the Indian markets to come back and end this underperformance that we've had for the last 1 year. So I'm actually very encouraged from this Diwali to next Diwali. I do believe that domestic liquidity will once again deliver. People should continue to participate. I know there is a lot of confusion in the minds of people, but I think quality once again will be rewarded. And if you are in the right themes, maybe not in the index, but in the mid caps and small caps, there is still serious money to be made.
Gautam, happy Diwali to you, Neeraj here. And I wonder if you believe equities can outperform gold, or do you think gold will still take center stage after the mammoth run that we've seen?
Neeraj, we spoke last Diwali around the same time, and I think our call was very clear that gold and silver will outperform equities, a call that has really worked very well for us. we are now completely changing our stance, and we believe that these are good times to convert paper profits in gold and silver into real profits. So aggressive profit booking should be done in gold and silver, and I think equities will make a very strong comeback. Not just India, but world over. We have seen world equities do very well over the last 1.5 years. I think India has the room to come back. And since you all like numbers, I think if you have to take a 12 to 18 month view, my working target of the Nifty is about 28,400. So I think the time has come to get back to Indian equities and give more importance to it.
I wonder what stock is tiramisu. Gautam, is there any one that you're liking to it, or is that just your current favorite? Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, I wish you a very happy Diwali. Just what is the outlook from here? Because a bit of debate since we've started this conversation this afternoon as well, and one point of view coming in that there is more pain ahead in the next 6 to 12 months. The other point of view saying that the worst is probably over. I wonder what you think.
Well, I wish all of you a very, very happy New Year, happy Diwali and New Year. Same for all the viewers. I think my view is that we have seen the worst of the pain. I think things are going to improve from here on. It's on the basis of the fact that domestic macros, domestic factors do really look good. In fact, there was one challenge which we all were grappling with is corporate results. And I think, Q2 results have been, to my mind, at least a positive surprise mostly. And I think that's very, very encouraging because by and large, all of us agree that Q3, Q4 will be much better. So even Q2 has been better than what we were expecting. So that's a good news. The only challenge had been the global news flow as well as the US-India trade tensions. Now, there is a strong view that some kind of solution is probably emerging on India-US trade issue. And if that does happen, as the Commerce Minister has been talking about by fall, I think that will be fantastic news for Indian equities as well. While we may agree or disagree, but to an extent, I think FIIs have been holding back and not coming into India because of the trade tension between India and US. At some level, this must be affecting their decision beyond a whole lot of other factors. Now, if India-US trade, there is some kind of understanding, some kind of settlement reached, and things become to an extent normal, I think FII's flow also to a great extent will be back. Valuations after the time correction have become to an extent reasonable. I won't say they are cheap, but they are reasonable. And if you compare them with some of the other Southeast Asian economies, they are still not cheap, but they are reasonable considering the growth potential of Indian stocks. Selective stock picking should be the trick.
Right.
And definitely equity will deliver better return than most other classes of assets.
Well, that's good to know. So both Sudeep and Gautam are on the same path. Gautam, before we thank you, would love to know, not essentially as stock picks, but the flavor of 2 or 3 things which could fit the tiramisu bill that you might be thinking can give good returns. It could be a sectoral theme, it could be specific pockets within that sector, whatever you're comfortable with.
The market has lived with surprises in the last 5 years. If a year back, if somebody asked you that, do you think that gold and silver is going to be the best performer among all asset classes? Not many would have thought of it based on common sense. That's been the beauty of markets over the last 5 years. I think between this Diwali and next Diwali, metals and PSU banks, for me, is going to be the flavor. I think metal stocks are setting up for a very large mega trend. I already see beautiful signs of it. Technically, fundamentally, I think things are picking up as well. Valuations are comfortable. Smart money action seems to be improving. And I think with what PSU banks have done in the last 1 month, I think that's, according to me, a mega trend that should play out over the next 6 to 12 months. Valuations very comfortable. Governments doing all the right things, talking all the right things, charts in great space. So if I have to pick 2 sectors, it would be these 2.
What is the Nifty looking like by next Diwali?
See, as I said last year as well, it's not about the Nifty anymore. I think we are still one of the more expensive markets in the world. I think if we can do a 10-12% from here, I think that's doable. So if I have to put a number, I would say 27,500. I think there's a high probability that we get close to 27,500 by next Diwali. But that's nothing great in percentage terms. It's about mid caps and small caps where serious domestic money is flowing in.
Okay, and what about HDFC? Let's get it up because everyone's been talking about HDFC Bank. You talked about metals, you talked about banks. Let's get an HDFC target.
Well, I don't want to speak about a specific stock and a specific number. I do believe that these are stocks where most of the positives are priced in and they're not going to do anything special. I would go with the top PSU bank. I think the top PSU bank will beat every other bank in the market over the next 1 year.
So that's quite interesting. Thank you so much, Gautam and Sudeep, for joining us today. And wish you all a very happy Diwali to the entire team here.
The only thing is, Gautam, you can go, but Sudeep, if you are there, we haven't quite gotten your Muhurat bet. If you can give our viewers one Muhurat idea that they can bet on. Sudeep.
Well, Neeraj, I think, I'll give you a little offbeat idea. Bharti Airtel is what I like. I think, one more rate hike is on the cards very soon. Reliance Jio is getting into an IPO mode, and I think the industry will take one more hike, which definitely will help Bharti Airtel in a big way. International operations have been doing pretty well. And most interestingly, Vodafone Idea's application at Supreme Court for AGR due reduction or waiver is at a stage where there is expectation which is building up that some relief will come. Now, if the relief comes to Vodafone Idea, automatically Bharti Airtel also will get a significant relief. So considering all this, I'm recommending Bharti Airtel for a buy with a target of 2,500.
Thank you so much and have a fabulous New Year celebration and a great Samvat ahead. Thank you for taking the time out and giving us your thoughts. Okay, from gold to global indices, what shone and what slumped this Samvat? Sharad Johnson with the full Diwali to Diwali wrap across commodities and global markets. Sharad, it's easy. Gold would be shining bright.
Well, yes, Neeraj, gold is, of course, the star performer, followed closely by silver as well. But let's look at how the overall performance has been coming up. Gold, look at it, 52% returns coming in current prices, upwards of almost $4,200. Silver also close second, 51%. But Brent crude over here, this is an asset class also which you are tracking. That's roughly down 15% as well if you look at the commodity segment. Aluminium, copper, volatility in these counters, but not as so much as the precious metal counterparts. Currently, it's almost 5% of aluminium on the LME prices. And interestingly, coffee, this is the stock, or we could say the asset class which I have picked. That is 62%. That means your morning coffees have actually increased their prices. And that's insane. Also, let's look at the benchmarks, how the performance has been there. And of course, there is a very important data which I'll be sharing with you. It's almost 11% dollar returns when it comes to Dow Jones, S&P 500. This number is 16%. And Euro stocks, that's interestingly 23% up. Let's look at the Asian counterparts where we stand. Kospi, almost 37% up. Hang Seng, ALS and Nikkei also going up 23 to 25%. But Nifty India Index, the most important data to look at is this data has actually turned positive when it comes to the dollar terms. So of course we will update that as well. But why there has been an underperformance, Samvat to Samvat, let's actually talk on that. Firstly, the more fall has been seen due to the rupee depreciation coming in, and as our FIs, most of the money has moved to US and Asian FIs. Taiwan and China have seen a significant flows coming in. Valuations were on the higher side. There is a moderation coming in, and also the earnings, especially the first half of FY26, we saw a moderation coming in. But going ahead, will India bounce back? And that is something which is very important for this Samvat. H2 is likely to have a stronger earnings amid tax cut announcement. That means we can see more upgrades happening from the analyst community as well. And lastly, FI short covering, that has also picked up. And right now, Neeraj was mentioning, now it's coming in the short ratio has come to almost 83% odd mark. So a strong performance expected with India against its global counterparts going ahead.